We're off. Just see a few holes as to what pace this pitch is. It looks a dry pitch. Immaculate seam position, a little bit of movement in his first delivery at 81 miles an hour from Anderson. Low backs, early days. Always looking, I mentioned it's a dry surface, and I'm looking at the scratch marks that the batsman's made. If they go dark, if they look dark, and I think they're a little bit dark there, that's telling you there might be just a touch of moisture in this top surface. It's a fresh pitch. One to Rohit.
New day, new challenges for the Indian batters. The last time at Trent, the conditions were difficult for an openers, and both of them did a fabulous job. Got India off to a lovely start. Great point there by Bumble. When you mark guard, if you can kind of remove the top layer a bit, goes to show it's slightly damp. It's got it in. That's not a good sign, especially if you're playing Jimmy Anderson, Bumble.
Well, just for Indian viewers in particular, just to talk about the making of a test match pitch in the UK, it's important because of all the weather conditions that the groundsman will put moisture into the pitch, and he'll try and start the game with a certain amount of moisture in that top surface, round about 23%. And so the weather prior to the game would tell you if it's increased moisture or decreased moisture. If it's been wet and windy and horrible, it'll increase the moisture content. If it's dry and sunny, the moisture will be sucked out of the pitch. And so certainly the ICC and the umpires don't like the players walking on the pitch prior to the game, because the craftier players, you and I would know, that they walk onto the pitch to see if the studs go into the pitch, and they'll do a little scratch just to see that top surface. If it's dark underneath, they'll know that there's a little bit of moisture. So players are not allowed to walk on the pitch prior to the game. This is just a loosener from Anderson, one without loss. So a reminder of both teams, England with 3 changes. Hamid, Moeen and Wood for Crawley, Lawrence and Broad. Crawley and Lawrence will be left out of the team. Broad is injured. Thakur injured for India, and Ishant, good change for India.
It's very interesting to note that Michael Holding at the toss said that he'd be happy to bat first. But both captains at the toss said they would have liked to bowl first on this wicket. What's your take, Bumble?
Old school, mate. Had it drilled into me when I was at Lancashire all those years ago in the 60s and 70s. If you win the toss, you might think about bowling, think about it again, and then bat. Ollie Robinson from the pavilion end.
This is what Ollie Robinson is so good at. The ability to seam a ball. Brilliant ball first up. It's hard to leave on line, isn't it, a lot of the time?
A little smile from Rohit Sharma there as he looked at the judgment, but he trusted the bounce. Big question, of course, Dinesh, is coming from Trent Bridge down to Lord's just in a couple of days. Did you manage to get all your luggage down? All your clothes? Did you manage to get everything down here?
Yeah, they put me up in a nice little first class, the train. Just happy. Enough space to bring my luggage. I tell you what, if you think I have luggage, see some of the boys from the Indian team. They carry a truck by themselves.
I know that I gave you a lift to the ground the last day at Trent Bridge, and my suspension in the car was creaking.
I have all the luggage. I'm happy with what I have, but one jacket is missing, Bumble. One of one. One jacket.
Oh, not that again. I'm open to negotiation.
You got to spread the warmth, Bumble. Come on now.
Oh, it is a warm jacket, no doubt about that. Well, this is terrific for Ollie Robinson. Broad not playing, so an opportunity for him, new to Test match cricket, to be opening the bowling. I wonder if he also, how many times has he played here at Lord's, and has he got a preferred end? It is different with the slope. Two. Just thinking back again to that last Test matches and a couple of chances that went down at slip. It's so important here that you get your slip cordon right. Jimmy Anderson mentioning that a change of personnel is not ideal if you keep changing. So who is it now? It's Joe Root, Sibley, Bairstow, Burns is at gully, Hamid at backward point. Three without loss. He's played at Lord's 5 times, Ollie Robinson. You do have to get used to the slope from either end, really. That cloud is just starting to roll in again. This lad's changed from when I saw him. He was just a fresh-faced young lad at Lancashire. He's moved to Nottinghamshire. A lot of air going on there. Mead slots in at 3. Crawley left out. Just wonder when was last time that he played cricket. I mentioned Mark Wood, just the 25 overs he's bowled since the New Zealand Test series. We've seen a lot of this lad doing training on nets. Nothing like match practice, match play. Just 2 or 3 deliveries ago. Robinson. Was it an inside edge? It looked to be. No, it's not. Ooh. High. Gotta be high. Oh! In swing. Dinesh, that's in swing against this slight breeze. It's just a little draft of air.
Against slope as well, isn't it, Bumble? And to our right, you can see a bit of grey clouds there, Bumble.
I think it's so important to get that point across about the weather in the UK. Both captains say we'd like to have a ball first. We've just seen some blue sky and a little bit of sunshine. But as Dinesh says, that coming in on this breeze is cloud again, and low cloud.
Eldridge comes to stand. Kumar Sangakkara at the ribbon today. It's a great sight.
He was on duty. MCC President Kumar. Big appeal. Well, familiar faces with the umpires. Local UK umpires. Standing in this game, Richard Illingworth. His colleague is Michael Goff. Richard Kettleborough becomes third umpire. Almost like a resident match referee, Chris Broad. Maiden. More of an inquiry from Anderson with this latest appeal.
These are proper bowling conditions. The ball is seaming a lot. See the amount of seam that has happened after the ball is pitched. It's not easy as an opener. The good thing is KL Rahul is doing a good job.
Just in these first 3 overs, it's length is so important. Fullish length. Robinson, 80 miles an hour roundabout. Right there. Sit there. Camp there. Book in there. Bed and breakfast.
Classic new ball bowling there. Bobble seam. Just a little bit of movement away. Well played, Rohit. Still in.
Watchful. Chancellor must have booked a day off, booked a holiday. Could be working from home. There's obviously nothing wrong with the economy. The lad can relax, can't he? Another day at the cricket.
as an opener, these are the kind of balls you want to be leaving. I understand there's a bit of seam movement, but it's way outside off stump. Rohit doesn't want to be playing at that. The chances of nicking it is far higher.
Just got to be careful, Robinson, that he can get off the pitch, off the danger area. It's gone a bit wider, and the ball has two. Another maiden. A few there. Obviously, Michael Parkinson, great to see him. Proper Yorkshireman. He's alongside the Colonel there in that nice cream jacket, known as the Colonel. Nick Stewart has picked a winner. Swing it everywhere, Matthew. And the Stone Man. Inside edge. Has he got an inside edge? We talked about Hamid, who's got the shin pads on. He's at backward point.
He's ready to go, and all he needs is a yes or a nod from a Joe, and he'll be in there in a flash. Very interesting to know that Jimmy has already gone to the split seam, the wobble seam.
Yes.
He's got the control. I reckon that short leg will go in very, very soon after that inside edge that we saw. Captains might just think, oh, I've made a mistake, I'll leave it a couple of deliveries.
He's got his shin pads on, but his helmet is not there. So I'm assuming they're going to call it from inside.
That cloud has arrived, and England are not happy with the ball. Get on with it.
Bumble, gone all black today, I noticed. A lovely hat at that. Nice.
New hat. Yeah.
Any reason for all black outfit today?
And in black. Bit of Roy Orbison, bit of Blues Brothers, bit of music.
No.
Just fractionally short from Anderson. Just looking at you, I mean, you've got some gear, you have. You have some gear. Beautiful shirt. Is that silk again? Is it a silk shirt?
Linen, Bumble. Linen.
Goodness. He's got the works, he's got the linen, he's got the this, he's got that, bit of silk.
I don't have that hat though.
You're not having the hat, you might get the jacket. Beauty. A little bit of lift as well. 6 without loss. Ishant Sharma into the team. Do you know, I think that's just strengthened the team. Indian supporters might see it differently, but Sharma, vastly experienced. I think he could be a handful here. I have to commend you on the interview in that last test match with Jasprit Bumrah. I mean, Jasprit, he's got this totally different action, but you just see and sense the character of a player when you see an interview like that, and he was all smiles. I thought he spoke brilliantly, but he looks to be a real good guy.
Oh, he is. He's a lovely kid. Very self-confident. Very interesting personality. I said what he's done for 6 weeks to turn things around. He said he just spent time with his wife. Interesting.
He's been into London, had a bit of time off. I think it's terrific when interviews like that against international players who you don't know, but you then just sense, you know, this is a good guy, he knows what he's about, and interviews with a big smile on his face.
Loves Test cricket, Bumble.
Sit in there, Robinson.
Sit in there, KL Rahul too. It's about as well as he can play that ball. Great play. Pitching in, going out, but KL Rahul playing the line of the ball. Perfect. Good test match cricket here.
He's just lifted his pace, Robinson, in those first couple of overs. 80 miles an hour. Well, he's just up to mid-80s.
Yes.
Oh, come on now, Jadeja. The openers are doing a fabulous job. Go on now. Put your colours in. He's got to give some confidence in the box. He's batting at number 7, Bumble, with his whites on.
He's a good cricketer, Jadeja. Very effective. Good to see him back.
Bumble, what I'm going to be very interested in seeing is the transformation from a format like 100 into Test cricket. Very different. You've got to bring your A game to the table here. I do think batting might be okay, but bowling, that's the biggest challenge there. One format is bowling defensively, and in this format, when he does come on bowl, he's going to bowl attacking. It's two different things completely.
This is 62nd Test match. 34 years of age. So he's got all the experience to draw on. And he's such a good pro as well, he's Moeen Ali. But many supporters will be glad to see him back.
Lovely guy. You'd like to see the averages. It's kind of other way around though. Very talented. No doubt about that. Great guy.
Wide of the crease. Oh, it's a Jaffa. 7 without loss. This is everything but the nick. Rohit again just plays the line.
Love the smile there, Bumble, post getting beaten. They've done a few things right. Gotten behind the line of the ball, played it with soft hands. Been lucky at times not to get the edge, but they've definitely carried the good habits from Nottingham into London.
Well, yeah, play the line. You mentioned it a couple of times. Just hold the line, don't follow the ball.
Yes.
Just watching Anderson on the crease. Just subtle changes, not much. Close to the umpire and then just a little bit wider. I've seen that look before. Concentration, intense concentration. Football just started.
There have been a couple who have hit the seam and come back in sharply, but have gone over the stumps a lot of the times.
It's watchful play, excellent play.
Old school opening this Bumble.
It is Test match cricket. Just get rid of the shine, get rid of the new ball. Got to have a tight defence. And again, all you budding fast bowlers, as the pros in the trade, they would say you need good wheels. Let's have a look at Anderson's wheels. Look at the sprigs, look at those spikes built into his boots there. He'll have a high instep, lots of cushioning around the heel, straps holding everything in place across his instep there. Eight without loss. Look, those are a batter's boots. Whose are those? Reveal all. Nasib Hamid. Seen the bowler's shoes and just a brief look at a batsman's shoes. Well, there's some runs there. Just become a granddad as Jeffrey.
Jeffrey used to enjoy watching Saurav bat. Big fan of the Prince of Calcutta, he used to keep saying.
Just imagine those two opening the batting. There'll be some running between the wickets. They've both got form. Both those two running between the wickets.
Jeffrey wasn't the quickest, was he?
Always made sure he was in. I think he's in the same box as the Chancellor of the Exchequer. He'll be bending his ear before long. Yeah, about my pension.
The first fielding change for the day. Square leg goes back.
Well, I talked about a short leg. We've just seen in these first few overs, we've seen a little bit of movement off the seam. We've seen one hit the inside edge onto pad and balloon up to short leg. And Joe Root's gone quite the other way. Put a deep backward square in position to Robinson. 80 miles an hour. Oh, just short.
He's been probing. Ollie Robinson has been probing. Had a few beatings go their way, but this one takes the edge. Just doesn't carry. Got to give a little bit of credit to the batter as well. You know, playing it with soft hands, but a great ball there for Robinson.
Wait on!
He's played that last delivery so well. He gets an outside edge drop short of Sibley at second slip, and then KL Rahul. So many times you'll hear coaches, pundits, commentators play late. There's a great example there from Rahul. Eight overs. It's 8 without loss.
Sedate start for India. 8 from 8 overs on a cloudy morning. They have negotiated Jimmy Anderson's opening spell because we're about to see the first change of the morning. Sam Curran will replace Anderson. The surprise is that Curran is bowling from the nursery end. You'd think the natural end for him would be pavilion end, with the slope aiding that swing back into the right-hander, but Joe Root sees things differently. Morning, Mel. Happy birthday, if I may say so, from yesterday.
Thank you so much. I had a lovely day yesterday, and the children I'm rooming with over here for the summer was kind enough to cook me blueberry pancakes for the morning. So kicked off beautiful.
What about the evening? Did you celebrate in fine style?
I think the best part about having a birthday over here in England is that it starts 24 hours before today, so it was extended.
Well, your yellow outfit this morning is certainly brightening a gloomy day here at Lord's. We've had drizzle, heavy overcast, cloud cover, encouraging Root to bowl first this morning.
It would have been one of those really tricky mornings for the captains and coaches when they looking up and down on whether or not they would bat or bowl if they won the coin toss. You've been there a few times before, I'm tipping.
Yeah, with the extra nervousness for England this morning about Anderson, who we understood had a tight quad yesterday. We've had fingers crossed that Anderson would get through that opening spell. because a couple of years ago in an Ashes Test match at Edgbaston, he came in with a slight niggle and lasted about 4 overs, and that really impacted upon the game. So far, so good.
Yeah, I was there at that game with Mark Taylor, and it was just one of those moments, wasn't it? We'd heard about the calf niggle, and it really seriously impacted that Ashes game.
Tight quad. There's news about a tight quad as well, isn't there, this morning, in terms of the women's 100? Who's gone home?
Yeah, disappointment for Harmanpreet Kaur and for Manchester Originals fans, because she's going home with a quad injury. Now, they haven't made finals, but still, when you're a classy overseas player, you like to see them play. So a couple of games to go. So I have heard that they won't replace her.
Curran starts with a maiden. Who else has gone home? One more.
Well, this
name.
is bigger. Yeah, Smriti Mandana is out for the Southern Brave, and they've already qualified for finals. She's been brilliant at the top order with Danny Wyatt. So she's going home to spend some time with her family, because it's an interesting state of play within the women's game, because she's going home. There's a big series in Australia, India, England, and they've put, India, Australia, they've put a test match in there. So the fact that there's now a test match in the multi-format series for the women's game, leading into WBBL, leading into the Women's World Cup, it's just a sense that they need her to have a bit of a break before a very big summer down under.
Robinson to bowl his 5th over. So you're leaving us, Mel, after this game. You're going back to Australia. Obviously, you'll have to do a 2-week quarantine in Sydney. What's your understanding of the state of play, thinking ahead to the Ashes?
I would be mad to try and figure out that at the moment. That is just an ever-moving thing, and it's. I mean, Melbourne has gone into an extended 7-day lockdown at the moment. So for everyone in Melbourne watching, and Sydney, yeah, hope you're doing okay. And it all comes down to case numbers. If you can get it under 5 and consistently 5 for a week, then things shift. I do know that after the last summer in Australia with India and all the movements with that series and Big Bash as well, the staff at Cricket Australia do a magnificent job just pivoting very, very quickly. They've probably got a game plan A, B through to G.
Well, Root has just called Hamid into short leg, I think. I'm glad he has done that. Just watched the way that KL Rahul played that last ball. He's really trying to get forwards. Big stride to Robinson. We've already seen one inside edge off Anderson earlier in the day, just lolloped up to where short leg would have been. Both these openers are trying to get forward on a slow pitch. There's a bit of movement running down the hill, and you can see an inside edge onto pad, and that's why the short leg is in now. Just love it as an opener. First morning of a test match, if a captain didn't have a short leg, you're not quite sure what the pitch is going to do. You don't quite know about the bounce and the movement, and if there's no short leg, I always felt that was a good thing as from a batting perspective. He's had finger trouble in the past. Looks as though
he's
got about 4 broken fingers there. Blimey. Look at that. It's a great story, the return of Hamid. Obviously played so well in that series in India in 2016, and then 3 years later was released by Lancashire. Looked as though his career was on the line. He's now back in the England team, but all those bandages on his finger is a reminder of the area that he did struggle after his initial entrance into international cricket, playing low, bounce, injured digits.
I was watching him warm up in this position before the game, and Zach Crawley was throwing balls. Thorpe was hitting it to him, and I mean, it's just a slight thing though, isn't it? at this end of the pitch with the slope as well. It seemed quite flat-footed, and it's a very technical position shortly. You've got to get yourself in a really strong power position. And just like to make sure that in this position here that he's just adjusting a little bit, making sure that weight's on the balls of his feet.
Angrily nudged into the leg side. India get into double figures. 11 for none. Yeah, England's close fielding is an issue, and B, with the changing personnel, will change again. I noticed Bairstow has been in the slips this morning. I don't think he was in the slips once in the match at Trent Bridge. Zach Crawley was in the slips. Sibley dropped a catch and was dismissed from the slips, but he's back in there at second, and Bairstow is in at third. Crawley did a fair bit of short leg work as well, so Hamid has to take that role this morning. Pope, when he plays, is a brilliant short leg, but has been released from the squad this morning.
Yes.
Looks so different, Taseeb, as well, from when he first played for England, if you recall, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Just short hair, neat kind of side parting. Look at him. Great story to see him back. Wish him well. Not quite got there yet.
Well, you'd know yourself, Pappers, there's a whole trust factor within a slips cordon as well, isn't there? The longer a slips cordon can stay together and get a sense of depth, distance. Are there slips fielders that like to dive across or are comfortable to judge if a ball's going to fall short? And if they can judge that well, they either go or they stay and don't sort of put off the rest of the cordon.
First time, a bit of swing there for Curran. Generally, partly because of the end that he's been bowling at, he's been running it down the hill, threatening the outside edge. This one just came back, and I think for a moment Curran thought he was in business.
Just that initial position from Sharma, I think, really saved him. He didn't fall down to the offside too much. Actually gave Jason Gillespie a quick message before, just to figure out what end Ollie Robinson preferred here at Lord's. He's got a wonderful record against Middlesex. He was kind enough to get back pretty quickly and said that he does prefer the pavilion end. That's where all his success has been.
Where is he, Dizzy, right now?
I'd say he'd be in Adelaide.
Adelaide.
I don't think they're in lockdown. So.
They're having a fine time in Adelaide. Dizzy Gillespie, who worked with Ollie Robinson up at Yorkshire and then at Sussex as well. So knows him very well.
So it's worked out well, hasn't it? Anderson from the nursery straight in. Robinson comes on with the new ball from the pavilion end where he's had all his success, majority of.
No.
13 for none. It's a generalisation, and bowlers will obviously bowl at both ends, and we're about to see Anderson, I think, come from the pavilion end. Generally, the line bowlers, the great line bowlers like Pollard, McGrath, Ambrose, have enjoyed bowling from the pavilion end. So Anderson is switching ends now. Started nursery end, now pavilion end.
And even though you might have that third end, I'm wrapped that Root and Anderson are giving it a shot from the pavilion end too, because sometimes you just don't know. Even bowlers themselves sort of sometimes say, I'm not too sure how or why a ball's moving in a certain way when I'm releasing it. I mean, Jimmy Anderson has so much control over his line, length. He's worked the wobble seam quite a bit in the series so far. What can he extract from the pavilion end?
How the conversation went with Anderson this morning, just on the back of the tightness in the quad he had. He would have obviously had a fitness test this morning. Wonder whether the medics have to sign him off, or whether Root just says to Jimmy, you know your body better than anybody, you know, can you get through the game? This was a bit of footage of his fitness test at the start of the day. There's a bit of movement. I think it's high. Michael Goff, shake of the head. Anderson running one down the hill.
Second delivery from the pavilion end and movement. And certainly be going up the wicket of Rohit Sharma fairly quickly. Joe Root and Jimmy Anderson decided too high.
And again, Anderson bowling a straight line, the ball going down the slope. That's always the threat, bowling from the pavilion end. The slope is left to right as we look, so the ball will come down that slope, but clearly going over the top. Well, not by much actually. I thought it was going over a bit more than that.
Just asks a couple more questions, doesn't it, when Jimmy Anderson comes from the pavilion end? He's coming from the nursery end. You know he gets this beautiful seam position and away swing from the right-hander. So Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul sort of set themselves up for that, knowing that he does have the skill to bring it back in, but all of a sudden from the pavilion end, you've really got to have a good vision on the seam, and we've seen at Trent Bridge that even that alone isn't always going to give you everything you need to know.
Just flicks at the ball from time to time. Not a good shot, but he survives. 14 for none from 12. Down to the best dressed man in town, Sir Nicholas Knight.
A little bit on India's batter, but we'll get to that in a moment because they played so well. They played the line, generally the ball moving around, but I just want to focus a little bit on Ollie Robinson out of the attack now. But a really, really good first spell from him. On the left is what the modern bowler calls the wobble seam. We'll release that in a moment, but on the right is the conventional outswinger. You can see there's a little bit of a difference there. The two fingers on the left very much on the ball. The third finger, keep an eye on that because that's not on the ball. On the right there with the conventional outswing, a little bit more of the wrist behind the ball, and the third finger's on the ball. That's the wobble seam. So the bowler's hoping it's going to land on the seam and go either way. Excellent delivery there, just beating the outside edge. The more conventional release on the right, we'll get back to that in a moment, but the more conventional release on the right, and you can see the ball there with the seam canted towards first slip, second slip. That then will go towards and away from the batsman towards the slips. What he's also done really well is bowler length, and we'll get onto that again in a minute, but you can see 50% there on the full, that sort of 5 metre length there, 6 metre length. I mean, it's been monotonous, and the way that he's varied his release points. So he's constantly asking questions. So it's been a testing opening spell for Ollie Robinson, and as I say, India's batsmen played it terrifically well because essentially they played the line of the ball. But a bit of a talking point out on the back of that. I mean, I followed his career domestically for the last few years. Doesn't play a lot of one-day cricket. Plays a lot of championship cricket for Sussex now. Jason Gillespie, of course, he worked closely with over the years. I just wonder whether the lengths that we've just shown there and his control, which has been immaculate, is helped by the fact that he hasn't played a tremendous amount of one-day cricket. You think of the modern bowlers, you think of the variations that we constantly go on about in the one-day game, and constantly having to evolve your one-day bowling. He's kept it pretty simple, and it kind of works for him.
Well, he's had an outstanding record in the championship, not just in 2021, but for the last 4 or 5 years. His statistics in first-class cricket have been absolutely outstanding. That's why he got into the team in the first place, as you say. He's got that kind of metronomic length. Bowling accurately can be a disadvantage in the one-day game, but of course in first-class cricket it's a real advantage. Look at that record. Average of 21, almost 300 first-class wickets now. Flick fine, and this will be the first boundary of the morning.
Bowlers in the first Test match at Trent Bridge got punished if they got too full. On this occasion, Sangakkara on the pads of Sharma flicks it up the hill. Finally, very square here at Lord's.
Oh. 18 for none. Change for India, Ishant Sharma for Shardul Thakur. So keeping that same balance, 4 seamers and a spinner. Does lengthen the tail a little. Although Virat Kohli was thrilled how well his tail-enders got stuck in with the bat at Nottingham and lifted that first innings lead to 95, which was a big part of the game actually. Just interested with that kind of flick that KL Rahul played a short while ago. If you take you to Trent Bridge, Root put him down. It kind of flicks at the ball. It's not a full-blooded cut, which it should be. Just a bit uncertain, and the last ball of the previous Anderson over was very similar. Just has a little kind of flick at it with his hands. I'm not suggesting you should be bowling short and wide to exploit that, but it's just something that KL Rahul can look at and think about.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because these two, we're playing red ball cricket at the moment, so very good with the white ball. Both open up, both like to get on the attack field, bat on ball. So just whether or not he just fights that little tendency to try and feel the bat on the ball at times.
I thought they both played so well up at Trent Bridge. In both innings actually, and in particular the second innings, that hour on the, what was that, the 4th evening. They lost KL Rahul in the end, but they got to 50 for 1. It was brilliant cricket, really tough, exacting conditions, and I thought the way that India's openers played in that Test match was fantastic.
Yeah, completely agree. And for a number of reasons, they put on 97 in that first innings, really set things up. But you could see the way in which they were just manoeuvring through the innings too. They had rain breaks, they had lunch and tea breaks to manage as well. You could almost sense that communication between them about recognising different parts of the partnership and deciding, I think we can push forward a little bit here, I think we need to back off a little bit. And that's good signs for India for an opening pair who weren't originally down as the opening pair.
That's right, Shubman Gill initially, Mayank Agarwal after that, both got injured. Shubman departed a while ago. One got hit in the net, so KL Rahul came in, and boy did he take his chance at Trent Bridge. Well, he spoke excellently. He did an interview with Dinesh Karthik up in Nottingham. I thought he spoke really well and intelligently about the challenge of opening in England and how he's had to bury his ego a little bit and just adapt to the conditions. He's left that 22 for none off 14.
Yeah, I think what he also did so well at Trent Bridge was he may play and miss. He did play and miss quite a bit during that innings, but the next ball you could just see his refocus every single time.
Little wide from Sam Curran, and Rohit Sharma, he didn't thrash at it, he just timed it away, really waited for it and made sure he was in a good position to play the shot.
His approach to Sam Curran has almost created this. He's been really steady with his head going straight at the bowler's arm, stump to stump lines. It's almost like Sam Curran just a little bit impatient, tried to search for something. Once he does that, Virat Sharma has said thank you very much.
Oh, just wide of third slip. Bairstow, it is there, diving away to his right, and Rohit will pick up another boundary, this time off the edge.
First time I've seen Rohit Sharma just get a little hard with the hands out in front of that pad. So many times he's let the ball come to him. It's best on this angle, where the hands well and truly out in front of the left pad.
I tend to find that the slip fielders, when they're standing at that end, the pavilion end, they will go wider, spread themselves wider. With the slope, you get a lot of catches second, third, fourth slip. Curran beats the outside edge again, and then when the slip fielders are at the other end, standing at the nursery end, they come a little finer because a lot more catches go to first and second slip.
I'll be interested to see how Rishabh Pant and the slips cordon for India adjust then as well. I had a chat to him before the game. And in India and the subcontinent, the slips are very narrow. Ball doesn't move around as much. Doesn't have much carry.
He was very quickly onto the front foot then. He was almost just walking at Sam Curran, who is not a quick bowler. He's less than 80 miles an hour, so you can come forward and Well, hit quickly onto the front foot. Third boundary of the over.
What an over this has been so far already. Well forward, Rohit Sharma, comfortably playing underneath the eye, so has control, unlike the leading edge. The second ball of the over that flew through the slips cordon. So 2 to Rohit Sharma, 2 to Sangakkara, still 2 to go.
Two straight on this occasion, and Rohit Sharma has created this opportunity by being aggressive through the offside, and Curran straightening up his line very elegantly is clipped through mid-wicket.
Comfortably into position here. So good to watch Rohit Sharma in all formats. He's been brilliant opening up for India over the last few years.
Not tempted for the final ball of the 15th over. 16 came from it, and India, after an hour of play, 38 for none here at Lord's. Time for drinks.
Strauss Foundation Test match here at Lord's. It's a very, very worthy cause. This is what it's all about. Generosity last summer was immense. Please help if you can. Text 20 to 70600 to donate £20 to the Rohit Strauss Foundation. We have had an hour of cricket here at Lord's. No wickets, but we have had 15 overs. Both England and India were dot points from their over rates in the first test at Trent Bridge. Some dosh as well. Proves it can be done, London. get on with the game.
Just stop messing around.
Quite right to be sent back there. Rohit Sharma firm his opposition to that single. Given the conditions we've had here, Bumble, these two have done remarkably well.
Well, high class opening the batting, just negotiating the freshness of the pitch and the new ball. The shine off, as they always used to say, but I think they left it immaculately. I just wonder, you know, if you just had a drinks break and England sort of huddled together, had a brew, do you get a bit twitchy when you've won the toss and decided to bowl first? There's an hour gone in cloudy conditions, lights on. You get a bit twitchy and think, crikey, they should be 2 out, surely.
Absolutely. I've just seen the stat Crickfizz put out. It's the first time in over a decade that a side has won the toss and bowled first at Lord's, not taking a wicket in the first 10 overs. So yes, Joe Root would be a bit twitchy.
You know, you just look back on years gone by, in these conditions, and particularly at this ground, you win the toss and bowl first. Just thinking back to time at Lancashire. First fielding position, short leg, on the slope, nipping it back. There's one definitely gone to short leg, a balloon catch. England have only very recently put a short leg in there.
Seaber's in there now. The one is very straight. Yeah, it's sort of gone out the game a little bit short leg. I'm with you, particularly with the slope. Can get the ball running back to the right-hander, challenge the inside edge. It's like that in silly point to the spinner. That seems to have gone out less fashionable.
Wait.
38 without loss.
Anderson 7 overs 3 maidens, none for 9. Sam Curran has not kept a lid on things, 4 overs, none for 22.
He got hit for 4 fours, didn't he, in that over? 4 drinks. Ideal conditions to bowl, make no mistake. Ideal conditions for Sam Curran to swing the ball. It has swung, but quite early out the hand. Say Sam Curran is on at the wrong end, but anyway, this is one you were talking about, Bumble.
Well, it just lobs up inside edge pad. There's all sorts of things to consider, and we've mentioned the slope, cloudy conditions.
Gone fine. Robinson is quite square.
The other thing, and just thinking back to your time as a batsman, you're wary of that short leg. In conditions like that, you're wary of him. He's in there. You've got to be really careful that you want to get forward, but if you get forward and I get an inside edge onto the pad, he's going to come into play. This is it again. He plants his front leg against Anderson, inside edge, and it just lobs up.
So your point would be his very presence in there is not necessarily just to take the catch, it's to put doubt in the batsman's mind and change his footwork.
100%. It's a tactic that you're thinking, well, he can't afford to keep pushing forward, he will get an inside edge. So then he plays back to a full length ball, LBW comes in. It's just gone out, short leg. Years ago, that's the first position. Win the toss, short leg.
Again fine, this time with some pace, so that will go away for 4.
Play the swing. Sam Curran starts it far too straight. Rohit Sharma, well, he just tucks in. He's going to play that all day.
What Bumble? I've got bat envy. See the front of Rohit Sharma's bat. See the 2 different colours? I used to love that, the darker wood and the lighter wood. Solid in defence, coming down at Curran, 44 without loss. Nick?
Say solid in defence. It's been eye-catching batting, really, from India's 2 opening batsmen in the first hour. You've got to remember, of course, these are 2 of the best one-day players in the world. And what have they done so well? Well, there's an example of it, and there's a few others. They've tucked the bat in. They haven't pushed hard at the ball. When it's moving around off the pitch and in the air, the less good players will just jab at the ball and push at it as it just moves away. But what these 2 have done so well is play the line so well. They've been very disciplined, their judgment outside off stump. And as I say, when you think that these 2, their natural thought is to go and address the ball, hit the ball, they've shown a great deal of discipline and caused 1 or 2 problems for England. So it's been a terrific first hour for them.
Excellent technique and excellent discipline, as you mentioned.
Well, let's talk technique. The couple of 3 examples that we saw there from Nick Knight, when they're leaving the ball straight down the line, I can't see the right shoulder. I'm not seeing the right shoulder. They're not getting squared up. They're just staying in that sideways position, being really watchful, getting the back tucked in close to the body.
With KL Rahul, when he leaves it, he sort of just tucks the bat behind the pad, but sort of leaves it there. Saw on a couple of occasions at Trent Bridge, ball passed very close to the outside edge. In fact, on one occasion, Root heard a noise, instinctively reviewed, and he was quite a long way away. Butler couldn't rein him in. But that one there jags back down the hill a little more. It could take the edge. Been trying to get this ball changed, to no avail yet. Crawley left out of the side for this test match, along with Dan Lawrence. Of course, Stuart Broad picking up that calf injury, which has wiped him out for the series, sadly. Close to the outside edge, but he is leaving it.
I think they've done marvellously well, the opening batsman. Real application.
It's a fantastic delivery, but dealt with by KL Rahul. The better fielders going, Johnny Bairstow. Don't often see him in the slips despite being a wicket keeper. Leg side, but he's got runs on the offside, and a couple of them. Rohit Sharma's dropped both his gloves. 46 without loss after 18. .46 without loss. We've had 18 overs, only 3 bowlers used. Anderson has bowled 8. Sam Curran has been expensive, bowling 5. Ollie Robinson has been miserly, bowling 5. He's about to start his 6th from the nursery end. No Mark Wood of yet. Wood's waiting for the pavilion end to open up when Anderson's second spell is over. Robinson has the slope to try and take the ball away from the right-handers.
Up. That's the bottom right of the pavilion as we look at it. But it's not the committee room. I think the very special people have seen it baked well in the centre of the middle row. Rang the bell this morning. That explains it. England, because there are that many players and support staff, are in the committee room.
If you remember at Trent Bridge, a lot of them were changing in the old press box, which is at the top of the pavilion.
There are 18 backroom staff and must be 17 players, I think, certainly in the squad. Not seeing him yet.
A few less now, isn't there, because Broad's gone, injured. Pope has been released to play for Surrey. Bess for Yorkshire. Half an appeal.
18 support staff, I just have a little chuckle to myself that when I was involved in the 90s, I had 6 and they went apoplectic that there were too many.
This rain is getting heavier. So we had a delay to the start of play because of rain. We're going to have a small delay here, which has not been forecast. Forecast was for cloud cover getting better throughout the day, but none of the forecasts I saw suggested rain. They're just thinking about it. They have decided, yeah, they're going to ask the ground staff to fire the hover cover up and get the pitch covered. They're still trying to get the ball changed.
$18 overs and a bit bowled so far at a rate of just over 13, and that's where we stand. India inserted Sharma and Rahul. KL Rahul have done a very good job. 46 runs on the board, no wickets down. As usual under these conditions, we have seen the ball go past the edge of the bat on a few occasions. A few edges have fallen short of the slip cordon. And the 3 bowlers that have been bowled will be a little bit frustrated that they haven't been able to take up a wicket yet. Curran was a bit expensive. Mark Wood, coming into this game having not played much cricket at all for the entire year, hasn't been given the ball yet. A restart for these 2 batsmen. 81 minutes at the crease for them so far. Not all at one go, of course. And Mark Wood so far just twiggling his fingers out on the boundary. Still not going to be seeing Mark Wood yet. It will be Ollie Robinson to complete his 6th over. Just 5 overs and 4 balls so far when they had to leave the field again for rain. So he has 2 deliveries to complete this over. 3 slips and the gully await. He's loosening up. Could see him operating from the pavilion end shortly. A maiden over. Very long over. 46 without loss. Well, Nick, in your previous job, you would know all about going out there and having to restart top of the order and then breaks and then going back out there.
I was just thinking that, and I'm thinking, what would I be wanting to do? And I'm thinking, when you mentioned Mark Wood, I'm thinking the pace of Wood or the skill of Anderson, either way, try and make the batter play, because he's thinking, I want to leave as much as possible. He's thinking, I want to get back in, I want to see the ball go past the bat, watch it, and get back into your innings. So Wood, yes, with the pace, and that'll make it a little bit more tricky if he gets it right. Try and make the batter play.
There'll be no gully for Mark Wood, just the 3 slips. There's a man in the line of the gully, which is technically a backward point.
Now the thing, Mikey, here, and you'll know this, the most fantastic lunches. That's the danger. You can have a full pudding, you can get a full meal, big steak, whatever you want. You've got an option here. Certainly used to. Loads of lovely food, so you can't overeat. There you go. Tuck in, lads.
One of the luxuries of not being in the final 11.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, is it? It's a good length. It's a good line. And that's what he has done. And Rohit Sharma so well. With a little third man piece on how they've left the ball. The judgment outside off stump.
Good looking seam from Mark Wood.
It's a brilliant lead. It's a brilliant lead. We'll get back to that in a moment because it'll just show here how well he's done in terms of judgment. Outside off stump. You can see that top of off stump, he's been leaving alone, you know, as many as he possibly can. But his judgment, and the reason you highlight this ball, look how wide of the crease he is there, and even there, that is a terrific lead. Because when a bowler's wide of the crease, you feel like playing as a right-hander. Angle coming in. Again.
Just 10 runs to his name, KL Rahul, and he has faced 50 deliveries. He won't be too worried about that, though. The important thing is to get through these dicey times, because we know that the ball is still doing a bit. It was overcast all morning, although the weather forecast said it should have been bright and sunny. A bit too wide. Made Nova 46 without loss. Crowds allowed back into the test matches, of course, with the restrictions lifted. Pretty good crowd in, but not every seat is taken. We know normally quite a few empty seats after lunch. Fans tend to take a long lunch. Just asking for the slips to be staggered a bit differently, Ollie Robinson. All morning we have heard different commentators talking about whether there should be a back pad in place or not. There are two men deep behind square, fine leg and the deep backward square leg, a short mid-wicket catching, no back pad, which is something I still think that Ollie Robinson could use.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's also signalling to you as a batsman that the line is changing a little bit. The first spell, Robinson from the pavilion end, he had 3 slips and didn't have a man catching at mid-wicket and didn't have a man back. So as a batsman, you're thinking they're going to bowl straighter. Just 2 slips and a wideish 4th, 5th slip. So he's got both edges covered.
Battle before buys. Second bounce before it got to the wicket keeper, just skidding along the ground.
Just get a feeling with the way the field is set and the way they're bowling after the break. Perhaps the chat at the break haven't quite made India play enough. So that's why the field is as it is. Just bowl at the stumps a little bit more.
That's what he should be looking to do. Just push it into the right hand and get it to go back down the slope.
Just see again in the replay whether he pushes at it. Look at the bat. Does he push at it? No, you see the bat there. That's what I highlighted in the third man piece as well. The very best players in the world don't push at the ball at the last. You see he's beaten, he knows he's beaten, but he holds the line of the bat rather than spar at it, push the bat at it. That's when you get in trouble. That's what both these players so far have done well.
Bit of hesitation, but he'll be safe in the end.
See the way he just doesn't push at the ball at the last minute. It's a brilliant delivery. He knows he's beaten, but he just holds the line with the bat.
No third man. Third slip, I think, is Johnny Pierstow. Tried his best. Won't get there. 56 without loss. Here's that 4 in the last ball of the previous over. Thick outside edge. Went straight to ground though. That's a grand stand in the background.
Yes.
That's why I would want a forward short leg bowling from that pavilion end, in particular with the ball coming back down the slope. That could easily have popped up for a catch. Went behind square and he played it well, but it easily could have popped up at forward short leg off the glove.
Field position is so much in vogue these days. Used to be a few years ago. As a batsman, you don't really like them in there because they're in your eye line, and you know if any slight misjudgment as you're pushing forward, and the short legs in the game.
just saw a shot of Hamid. He's nowhere near forward short leg at the moment. He's deep backward square, but he still has those pads under his trousers. That will slow him down a bit, chasing anything out in the deep.
I think for Rohit, Mikey, gives a bowler's view, but I'd say from a batter's view against Rohit, it's not a bad thing just to bowl the odd ball a little wider. Batted beautifully for his 40 from 73, but he's used to scoring quickly. He's a batsman that likes to see the scoreboard tick over. And just on the odd occasion, a little wider one to bring the slips in is not a bad ploy. Just test his patience. Scores so heavily in subcontinent conditions, struggles away from home. Main reason for that, I think, will be patience.
So far, so good. He has been leaving them well. 57 without loss. Both captains said that they wanted to bowl first. I think Kohli just maybe edging towards being happy to have lost the toss. Oh, that's very unusual. Don't usually find fast bowlers operating from the nursery end. Firing so many balls down the leg side to right-hander. The slope of the ground usually takes the ball away from the right-hander. Not too sure if it's because he's trying desperately to bring the ball back in, but starting a bit too straight. And again.
I think it's because of the brilliance of the batting in the first 22 overs. He's now forcing the bowlers to try and bowl a little tighter line, and sometimes they're just getting it wrong. That's why it's going down leg side. That's why the field is as it is, and that's why the bowlers are bowling that line. They're not trying to bowl that line on purpose. They're trying to bowl at the stumps. Just getting it wrong. But because they've left so well, they've been so disciplined, India, they're just forcing England to make a change.
That's a good delivery. Angled in out of his hand and then straightened.
John Lewis down there, the bowling coach.
That will race down the hill, but it wasn't that well timed, so it won't go all the way. We are very open to lip readers writing in and telling us what they are saying. We have no problem.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well run. Just a push into the gap. Another single. Thick inside edge. 23 overs, 61 without loss. Certainly not racing along KL Rahul, but once his partner is scoring at a reasonable rate, not a problem. Won't go all the way that. Slightly against the grain, going up a slope. And with the rain that we have had, the outfield will be a tad slower than normal. Seems as if he's desperate to try and get behind the bowler to see exactly what the ball is doing. Both the changing rooms are set to the side of the playing area, the pitch. So difficult to see exactly what's happening unless you're watching the television. And perhaps these guys prefer not to be watching the telly. I don't think he saw it. Not sure he would have been able to cut it off anyway. But Curran stood still for quite some time and then he saw where it was going. Big gaps on the onside. The change in the onside field. The leg gully comes in. Moeen goes to leg gully. Hamid goes right back onto the boundary, but he has to be in front of square now.
This will just test the mind and the balance. Great thinking, get him on the back foot.
Well done!
More and more development going on in the St. John's Wood area. You can see the cranes. They are not for the cricket ground. The stands are completed. Those cranes are for another apartment complex outside the ground. Get the top floor, watch cricket for free.
No run!
Oh, that got pretty high. Played it well though. Played it very well as a matter of fact. 68 without loss. Well, if he wasn't awake, he's awake now. Mark Wood can generate some serious pace. There was talk earlier on about the fact that Mark Wood has better figures away from England than in England. I think just the way that he bowls, that will happen for sure. May improve in England, yeah. That's the single. But when you see the slow nature of the pitches that Test cricket is being played on in England these days, you can understand why Mark Wood would do better away. I wouldn't really want to be batting against him in Australia, that's for sure. Or South Africa. Leg side again. Leg side again. That single brings up his half century, Rohit Sharma.
High class 50 in the conditions. In 25 overs he showed great discipline, he's been measured. His judgment outside off stump has been exemplary. I've seen Rohit Sharma play some wonderful innings over the years in Test match cricket and in one-day cricket. It's an innings of great patience.
Three singles from the over, 71 without loss.
Well, he's just struggled a bit for his line from the nursery end after lunch. He was with us before lunch. He was exemplary outside off stump, but you can see he's just, perhaps that's because of the angle, the slope. He's trying to overcompensate slightly. Perhaps it's also because he feels they haven't played enough, and so he's trying to bowl a little straighter at the stumps. That's perhaps why he's got a mid-wicket in place, but it hasn't quite worked out for Robinson.
Whoa. Just have to hope as a batsman that it just misses.
for you at the other end, Mikey.
Was that out of the back of the hand? It turned like a leg break. That's gone a long way up, but it also has gone a fair way in distance.
Worth a try. You can see their top edge with the extra pace is going to fly. They're worth a try. They've got a man just behind square and a fine leg. In the end, enough of a connection.
Years gone by with normal bats that would have been caught fine leg. Almost got him fishing. 77 without loss.
.77 for none. First day of the second test match here at Lord's. And Dinesh Karthik, we're going to have to lift our game a little bit because Michael Holding's just left the commentary box. Mark Wood is bowling absolute rockets at the moment. So between a batter and a wicketkeeper bat, we need to embrace our fast bowler mode.
Absolutely. He's bowling rockets, if you might call it that.
We're not fast bowlers ourselves, but you've certainly had to face fast bowling. For people listening in today, how much of a shift is it when all of a sudden you've got someone bowling at 96 miles an hour? You know you're going to face that at some stage. They knew Mark Wood was getting selected and being picked. One is, how do you shift your mindset for your game plan coming into the test? And then secondly, how do you shift technique as you're out in the middle as well?
Yeah. When I played, the quickest bowler that I faced was Shoaib Akhtar, and it was a challenge facing him. But these conditions are even tougher because Mark Wood is getting it to outswing a bit as well. Then on top of that, he's bowling that sharp bouncer. This is hard work. I think Rohit has played him really well, and so has KL Rahul. Rohit is on 56 as we speak, but KL Rahul, he's left balls well. He's played it with soft hands, played it late. He's just been an absolute pleasure to watch as well.
It almost feels to me that KL Rahul's come into this series and said to himself, I think he's only played one pull shot so far, and I know it's only early doors within the series, but this is his third time that he's straight out to the middle. That's a game plan in itself, isn't it? Not specifically against the quick bowlers, but just saying that if I want to get myself in, this is how I'm going to play, and then maybe once he gets past the 50 or the 100, then he could expand a little bit more.
Yes, man, I think it's a great point that you're talking about, the fact that KL probably hasn't pulled much, but also goes to show that England haven't bowled many bounces, to be honest. I think the only bouncer that I can't call it a bouncer, the short ball, so to say, was pulled for a top hit 6 by Rohit, and clearly because of the pace of the ball. Robinson got him out in Trent for the full shot just before lunch on that day. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't employed that tactic a little more. There's a lot on the wicket.
Fullens, little push down the ground. Good support in the field by Anderson.
Again, it also goes to show that the bowlers believe there's a lot in the wicket for them to just bowl up and keep troubling the batsman. And credit to the batsmen as well. They've found ways. They've been unlucky at times. Not that there's been any drop catches, but they've got beaten a lot of times, but that hasn't flustered them.
A maiden to Robinson, 77 for none. Almost a maiden. Clarification there that Ollie Robinson just overstriding on the last delivery. It was similar to Trent. All the no balls being bowled were pretty much off the last ball of the overs. Umpires almost getting ready to shift ends. Well, no runs off the bat for the over, just the no ball to go onto the score, 78 for none.
Rohit Sharma. Oh, how good has he been? He's put away all the bad balls. Most importantly, in between that, there have been some really good balls thrown at him, but he's found ways to stay there. Had a bit of luck, but he's played some lovely shot as well. There you can just see standing tall and just punching it off the back foot. You speak to him and you talk to him about the fact that he has extra time and he rubbishes you, but he does feel like he has a lot of extra time there.
Completely agree with you, DK. Oh, extra pace once again from Wood. So 4 to start the over.
We spoke about the fact that Mark Wood is bowling well. Here another 94-mile delivery, takes the inside edge, falls over. Mark Wood does that quite often. Rohit Sharma a tad bit lucky, but he definitely has earned that luck for the day. I just was seeing the speeds of the last over now. 96, 94, 88, 96 again. I mean, it's unbelievable. That is serious pace now.
Down once again. Mark Wood is putting absolutely everything into it at the moment. And you wonder how Joe Root uses him now, because he hasn't played a lot of cricket, hasn't got a lot of overs underneath his belt over the last few months, but his speed is up. But you want to protect that as well, don't you? You can't bowl him into the ground.
Oh yes, you do see his balls with serious fast balls, and I'm pretty sure that Joe Root will use him in short, sharp spells.
Miles, 95, 94. Zach Crawley right of screen, all padded up, going off for a hit at the back of here at Lord's at the nursery. I might pick your brains a little bit, DK, on Rohit Sharma, because you've spent a little bit of time with him recently. There's that favoured pull shot, and he's played it beautifully.
Well, it's a 93-mile-per-hour delivery, let me tell you that. And he smashed it in front of square leg. I mean, I don't know why he tells me he doesn't have time. Clearly, he has that extra time. He's able to smash a Mark Wood special at 93 miles an hour in front of square. It's unfair to call it in front of square. He hits it at deep mid-wicket to be right. That's a serious shot.
It's a statement shot too, isn't it? With that pace, being so far forward of square.
Well, I tell you what, man, he's made quite a few statements with that shot.
Well, you interviewed him recently. He would have made a few statements there as well. What kind of guy is he?
Oh, he's a lovely guy, the most fun-loving guy. I really have a lot of fun with him, just the way we chat, and over the years we've developed a really good friendship as well. When he came onto the scene, the first ever innings he's batted for India, I was standing at the non-striker, so when he comes in, Andrew Hall was bowling, and he asked me, how is he bowling? I said, he's bowling really sharp, don't be careful. And he's never forgotten it. He keeps coming back with me saying, how can you ever say that to a debutant, saying it's hard work here? At least make me feel like it's a little easier, but that's where our friendship started, and he's a terrific guy and a lovely family man as well.
Andrew Hall, South African. I think he played a lot of indoor cricket as well. 28 overs gone, 86 for none. And here it is. We just had a quick chat about it. Dinesh Karthik has spent some magnificent time with both Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. All available on the Sky Sports YouTube channel. Is he a real thinker of the game, Rohit Sharma?
Oh yes, he gives you the feeling like he's laid back, everything is easy, but I promise you, there's not a match he doesn't watch. Any match, anywhere, TV's on a lot of the time, and he's just observing it. And that's what makes him a good captain as well in the white ball format in IPL. He's very sharp, he's very astute about the game. Now, I'd love, as many people do watch it, I'd love the youngsters to watch it. He talks about at times just letting things go to make things happen. It's a beautiful interview. I was able to tap into rather emotional parts of his life. A very interesting one.
Moeen Ali into the team for the second test, now on to bowl.
This is a big challenge for Moeen Ali here. In normal circumstances, bowling to Rohit and Rahul is tough. And he's just off white ball cricket. It makes it that much more harder. You're used to bowling defensive lines as a finger spinner in white ball cricket these days. You're just trying to give away the single. You're just, making sure you don't get hit for the boundaries. Whereas here, the captain is telling you, it's okay, go for boundaries, but get me a wicket. different challenge altogether.
The good thing for Moeen Ali, he's got good form. Yes, it's in a different format. The confidence should be pretty high with bat and ball. And I think we saw that a little bit with Johnny Bairstow in the first Test match. He wonderful form within the 100, hadn't played red ball cricket for quite some time, but came in and got 2 starts, didn't kick on, but certainly looked more than comfortable against the pace attack of India.
I do feel bowling and adapting to formats is far tougher than batting and adapting to formats, because bowling, the way place where you release the ball, the feel is very different in white ball cricket to what it is in red ball cricket.
A bad way to finish off your first over. Back into the Test team. It's 86 for none.
One of his strengths, actually, the cut shot. I think he wanted to get it away for a boundary because there's a deep covers there. So he wanted to play it slightly late so that he could beat point and get that boundary. He hasn't hit one boundary so far, man. I'm sure he wants one.
Sam Curran into the attack, coming in from the pavilion end. I think there'll be quite a few left-handers sitting, watching from their lounge rooms saying, yeah, this is a better end for him. So a little adjustment phase here for Rohit Sharma. I thought he played Sam Curran exceptionally well. Forced him to bowl into areas where he could score straight line balls. He got his head into a really good position. Now that slight adjustment with the change of ends.
I do think this is the better end considering the slope. To bowl from the pavilion is always better. He'll always be bringing the ball back in, which is ideally suited for him considering he wants to get most of the batters LBW and bowled. But I've been one of that to him.
We'll come back to that.
I saw Kumar Sangakkara. He's missing from the comm box. I saw him with one of those ties today this morning, cutting the Compton which stand today.
Is he pretending to be important, is he, Kumar?
Well, if MCC chairman is pretending, then I don't know what isn't. Here we go.
Oh, he's got the scissors and all. In his last final months as president of the MCC. Does it very stylishly, just like his batting.
Absolute gentleman. Apparently for the timer, you've got to wait 29 years to get that tie. You heard of that? 29 years you need to wait to get that tie.
And they're the new stands that he opened up there. Fitted in absolutely beautifully here at Lord's. Another wonderful addition to this magnificent ground.
Compton and Edridge stand now. Compton and Edridge, new stand. Looks beautiful.
Past Butler. Question is, will he get back? He will. Starting to get the feeling too that, as we've always spoken about, particularly with the opening batters of any side, the importance of that relationship and understanding. And I get the feeling that between Rohit and Rahul, there's a real enjoyment factor.
Oh yes, they opened in white ball cricket together. In the T20 formats, they have opened in a few games. I think they would complement very well because Rohit is a class player on the leg side. I mean, he pulls and cuts second to none. Whereas KL is a lovely driver of the ball, cuts the ball, but one of his best shots is his ability to hit over covers consistently. So I think they complement each other well. It's a bit of a right-left combination in many ways, but it is right and right.
There's one of those drives. Very quickly back into his crease. Rohit Sharma, you don't want to be going out like that. 91 for me. So having lost the toss earlier today, India was sent in by Joe Root. And has been Sharma and Rahul. It's done exceptionally well to negate the new ball and conditions. As they move to 91 for none after 30 overs. With some batting to come. Started off a bit dreary here in London, but those clouds have risen a little bit. It's a lot brighter, even though the lights are on.
I do get the feeling that Rohit will definitely step out and go for one. He has the ability to step out and loft so well. It's one of his strengths actually.
And that shot there has gone to a position that Johnny Bairstow is not at a deep mid-on. He's certainly not at a regular mid-on to stop the singles. About 2/3 of the way. It's a little tempter to say if you want to hit over the top.
Well, is this fair to say? Isn't that a bit nonchalant? Boom, single. Doesn't that look too easy?
Yes, yes. Oh,
Trouble, sent back KL Rahul. Rohit was never interested in it. Then as he was turning around, spikes on the grass on the left-hand side of the pitch. Would have had his heart in his mouth there for a second.
It's one of those where KL was sure there was a single and Rohit was hesitant. You could see. They're batting so well, they don't need these kind of sharp singles at this point of time, even though they've run really well. It's a bit of an iffy single, if I may say that.
Well, it was only really these two that didn't have any running between wickets issues from the Indian side of things at Trent Bridge. Trying to push into that gap at cover. Can't find it to finish off that over. 31 overs gone, 92 for now.
I've been here the whole summer, Mel. I must admit. Of all the things that I have seen, running between the wickets haven't been the best over a period of time. There's been some funny ones. Just cracked up at a few.
It's usually what happens, isn't it? DK, not getting wickets, throw the ball to the umpire.
It's an old trick in the book, man. Old trick in the book. You don't get wickets, throw the ball to the umpire and say, you know what? I get a feeling this is not right.
Abi!
Certainly not to say they haven't got the ball to move. Jimmy Anderson got it to swing early doors, not as much as he did at Trent Bridge in the first innings. Got India playing and missing. But as yet, haven't been able to manage to find the breakthrough. 2 slips backward point in play for Sam Curran. We've got Overton on the ground at the moment. There he is there for Jimmy Bairstow.
one of the things that we did discuss about is the fact that they've just tried 4 balls under 10 meters. Generally, you need to be ahead of 10 meters for you to bowl a bouncer, which tells me that they haven't looked to bowl that many bouncers. I'm surprised, actually.
It's obviously a game plan that they've come in with. I suppose that then the question is, how long do you stick with that? Rohit Sharma's just ticked over 100 balls out in the middle.
Oh!
And I think that's the big difference, isn't it, between top order at the moment between India and England, is the ability, one, to face time and balls and time in the middle, and also still have the ability to sense moments to capitalise, and that's exactly what Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul have been able to do. And I think in doing that as well, DK, is that Roberts never looked flustered or concerned about KL Rahul being 16 from 88 either. Both of them look more than, other than that little shake of their head there, because he missed out on some run-scoring opportunities, but they've looked comfortable within the partnership and within themselves.
Oh, most definitely. I think we wouldn't associate a KL Rahul batting on 16 of 88 balls. So that goes to show that he's really fought the conditions. Whereas, interestingly, if a Sibley is on the same score, we would be looking at it and going, wow, is he batting slowly here? So it's just, understanding different batsmen, the way they bat, just accepting the situation as they are.
Sam.
Just a quick inspection of the follow through there from Sam Curran. A leave to finish the 32nd over, 93 for none.
Interesting, actually. If you see Rohit Sharma's bat position, left is a Trent Bridge game where he's really tucked his shoulder in and got his bat right behind him, whereas in Lords, I think from last game to now, what he's decided is just to open up a little bit so that he's not too worried about the LBW. I think for Robinson, the ball coming back in is far more dangerous than the one that goes back out. So he's slightly kept his bat outside, which is very much similar to what he does in white ball cricket, and protecting his LBW dismissal. These are small, subtle changes that every opener, every batsman makes for that matter.
We'll get back to that in a minute, but there's another point that you can raise on that split screen after this ball. On the left there, you can see, you're about to see we'll get to it in a minute.
DK, you called it. Loves to go up and over the top. Rohit Sharma had a good look and decided, yeah, now's the time.
Well, if Rohit Sharma's batting, if you decide to have a long on, you'd rather have a proper long on. If it's halfway, you're not tempting him. That's a shot that he'll play every day of the week. It's a simple shot. Step out and just smash it down the ground.
And with that, the change in the field as well. It's over to now. Johnny Bairstow, before he left the ground, he's now pushing back onto the boundary. Bottom right of screen. So he says, I'll just push back now. Got quite the paddock to work with through the offside. More than happy to take the single down the ground, which also takes India onto 100 for none.
Oh, I think these two boys will be so proud of themselves, so proud of themselves. A standing ovation from the coaches. 100 partnership, especially for the openers, is a rarity abroad. Under swinging conditions at Lord's, these two have done a fabulous job. I'm sure every Indian is hoping that these two keep going for as long as they can.
Dead backward square, just pushing up. $100 for none.
Yeah, thanks very much. Just to pick up on DK's point, here's another point. He's obviously, Rohit, concerned about the ball coming back into him from Ollie Robinson. DK picked up the backlift and the fact that he'd opened his stance a little bit. The one thing I'd pick up is where he's standing. You can see on the left, Trent Bridge, he's almost covering middle and off stump. As you look at today, he's on middle stump and leg stump. So it's really a combination of probably your point there and the fact that he's now staying even more leg side. So it's just interesting in how players just from test match to test match, they just make little tiny adjustments they just feel they need to do.
Also familiarity. I think he's played Ollie Robinson once before, so he knows what his strengths are. So he's holding him back, and the second test realizes that there's a better chance that a Robinson could get him out on LBW or bowl than one nicking off. So he hence just stays beside the line.
First real flirt outside off stump. We've seen KL Rahul being tempted at one stage. Now Rohit Sharma. DK, I'm going to ask you on that because I think that was Ollie Robinson bowling from the pavilion end to start with, so the ball coming back down the slope. Do you think then that Rohit changes that around again if all of a sudden he's facing Ollie Robinson from the nursery end?
Yes, I do think so. It would make a difference. Ollie Robinson does come from nursery and it'll help him in a different way. Whereas where Sam Curran is bowling from now, the ball that Rohit did miss, it looks like a ball that he should have left probably, but because of the slope, he's thinking the ball could come back in and hence played that shot. He's a little late on it. And we speak about communication as an opening partner. We speak about how important it is to work in pairs. As soon as Rohit played that shot, KL Rahul tells him, what are you doing? And Rohit apologizes literally. So that's the kind of communication you want, honesty that you want, and it's getting the best out of each other. They've 100 for no loss at Lord's on first day. They've lost the toss. They've been put into bat under tough conditions. Hats off to both of them.
Rohit's going to look for two here and get them comfortably.
Amongst all the boundaries that he's hit, 11 fours and a 6, he's always rotated, striking far, and run very well between wickets too. They've converted every opportunity they've got.
I noticed when he got his 50, his celebration was very subdued. There wasn't a big wave of the bat, and it was almost like he was saying, it's like getting a 30 or 40. I've got a long way to go.
You do speak to him and he talks to you about when you get going, get the big runs. Sounded a bit like Brian Lara to me, but I think he means it. He's got double hundreds since the time he's come back into the test after the 2019 World Cup. He's got a couple of double hundreds and he's batting as well as he's at the batting.
There's that pull shot straight to Moeen Ali. Well, he'd like to do something that Brian Lara hasn't done here at Lord's, and that's hit 100.
Brian Lara hasn't got 100. I also think Sachin Tendulkar as well hasn't got 100 if I'm right.
There's a few big names out there. We'll let everyone at home have a bit of a think about it as well.
Rahul Dravid tried his best to get 100 every time he played, but just managed to get in his last test match here. Brilliant. Lovely 100 there.
About 15 seconds here to try and get the rest of them. Big names.
I know Ganguly got it on his debut.
Mm-hmm.
There he is. It's a favorite spot for him. Has a house round the corner, I think. Lakshman, did he, Mal?
Mr. Sonny Gavaskar.
He hasn't.
Isn't? Ricky Ponting. Jacques Callis.
No.
And I had a little whisper saying Michael Holding as well. 34 overs gone, 103 on the board.
Spreading them far and wide on the onside. Deep backward square, deep mid wicket. Long on. Last time I was on commentary, Bumble, I was saying that I think Kohli's edging towards being happy that he lost the toss. I think he's definitely happy now.
Those dreaded words at the toss. We'll have a bowl.
Nas knows about those words. Brisbane, all those years ago. We used to do it a lot in the 80s with the team that we had in the West Indies because we knew that the batsmen didn't want to bat, the opposition batsmen, that is. Single down to long on. I suspect that England did it this time around because they have no faith in the top order and they figured under the conditions they would lose some early wickets. And India have batted well. They have batted extremely well. Silly point in place. Single again down to long on. Not right back on the boundary, just halfway, but still an easy single. 105 without loss. Pujara slated to come in at number 3. Kohli, Rahane. Ajinkya Rahane will remember that Nottingham Test match, giving away his wicket. Bumble, you did a lot of batting. England, Lancashire. When you have a partnership as long as this and you're the next man in, do you keep your pads on all the time or do you ask someone to sit in at times?
There's always been a thought that after a certain amount of time that batsman who's waiting would just ask for a rest and for somebody else, but I never really think about doing that because your opportunity is given away if it's a really big partnership. It's telling you that you've got conditions for batting, and if a wicket does fall, then it's your turn to get in there and do it. Been evidence that the batsmen have got a long way. We'll say, just give me half an hour off, put your pads on. Of course, there have been some players, and are notable that you and I both played with, at county level, you at international level. Clive Lloyd at number 4 would just have a sleep, with his pads on, and we would just say, Clive, you're in. And he'd get up and walk in there. So he wouldn't be aware of what the score was, he would just go out and play.
Yeah, I suggest though that he would have watched a bit earlier on, because Bib used to do that, even batting at number 3. Oh, close shave. Got away with it. Should get 2.
It's a very interesting point that you make, that you get some batsmen who are next in, would sit and watch every delivery, but others would be quite relaxed and maybe read a paper and play some music and be so relaxed when they had to go into bat. There are different ways of doing it. Interesting to see the number 3. Who's in at number 3? Pujara. There he is. He's just sat relaxed. He's watching the game.
Yeah, just under the side screen, right behind the bowler's arm. But just getting back to IVA Richards, he used to watch a bit. The openers would go out and he would watch a bit, because he wanted to see what the bowlers were doing first up, what the pitch was doing. And then more times than not, there is a picture of him at any rate. More times than not, with Greenwich and Haynes giving the West Indies a pretty good start, he would then just go back to the back of the dressing room, lay on the bench and relax. There's a magnificent painting of him in Lords as well, on the wall of the corridor walking up the steps. But have a look at that career. Averaging just over 50, 45 half centuries, 24 centuries, and a best of 291 at the Oval in 1976. Could have been a better conversion as well from 50s to 100s. He just was interested in getting enough runs for the team to win. 108 without loss, and I think I see some folks coming out with drinks.
Just holding court at this drinks break. Tactics. You see things now, 108 without loss, India. Sharma splendid, absolutely splendid today, 22. So England got to come up with a combination of because it's not been demanding movement. But we've seen throughout these 36 overs, there's not been great demanding movement. Anderson reminds me as ever. Nothing that has really tested the batsmen. They've been excellent.
Not very regularly you see an opening pair come together with over 100-run partnership, and one of the opening pair have less than 20 runs. You don't see that too often. But Rohit Sharma, at the rate at which he is scoring, has helped with this partnership. India will not be too worried about the fact that KL Rahul isn't scoring quickly. The run rate is 3 runs per over, which is pretty much what you expect in a test match, and then of course you look to build on that. So India are quite comfortable at the moment.
I'll take you back to your pitch report this morning. I take it that you said back first when you'd seen the pitch.
Definitely. It was a little bit overcast when we did the pitch report at about 9:10 this morning, but the forecast was for it to clear, and it should have been a bright sunny day. But even so, without the bright sunny day, you'd expect the first day of a test match the ball to do a bit. But then this Lord's pitch, as we know, Bumble over the years, is a good batting surface.
Wait.
Not getting a lot of turn back up the slope, so not necessarily a dangerous stroke, as they say, to be playing against the spin.
Love him up. Good stuff, move it.
Close call, looking to play that through the onside, and there was no spin.
Deliveries ago, just past the outside edge. I don't think there's a nick.
Well, I actually thought he was looking to play through the onside, but it was offside. Open the face of the bat. That now is towards the onside. Gets a comfortable single. 109 without loss.
Well, that player miss said it wasn't a nick. No, clear daylight there. Ball just went on with the arm, went down the slope.
Sangakkara has been a bit expensive. He has 9 overs for 38 runs. Conman rate of 4.22. A wicket will fix that.
Go!
Just getting back to the pitches, and the 2 pitches that we've seen at Trent Bridge. It's a well-grassed pitch, but the grass was longer at Trent Bridge. The bowlers were getting extravagant movement. This is shorter grass, although there's plenty of it. It's dry. there hasn't been that movement for the quicker bowlers that have made it so demanding for the batsman. Deep back with square leg, comes up to square leg by the umpire.
No.
Always good to stand at square leg. I always used to think you can have a chat. I always like to have a chat with the umpire about where he's been, what games he'd done, who'd he seen, anybody got under his skin.
Runs, or run rather, no S, just a single. Well, that's interesting. His highest score outside of India at the moment, Rohit Sharma. 23 test matches. Needs to make this a big one then to improve that average.
Both batsmen are so eager to get onto the front foot. Not seeing any problems in this surface or from the bowling. See that first movement, get forward.
I think that would be a leg by. Yep. With KL Rahul on strike, Sam Curran has decided to now go round the wicket. Ooh. Close call yet again. 1-1-1 without loss. Wardia, what have you got for us?
Well, just an appreciation of what Moeen Ali is doing so far. Very, very difficult to bowl spin on day one of a test match in this country, particularly when it's all set up for the seamers. Now, I'm going to remind you that Moeen Ali has done well against India with his bowling. I'm going to take you back to the Ageas Bowl in 2018. 9 in the game. But look at what he's got to work with. Look how dry that pitch is. Look how many holes he's got to aim at. Now, if we show you what he's operating with here at Lord's, he has absolutely nothing to work with. It is absolutely pristine. So for him to bowl 5 overs, 1 maiden, none for 11, I think he's doing a fabulous job so far.
Well, I think that is what he was brought into the team to do in the first innings. I think Joe Root and the entire England hierarchy would have been thinking seam bowlers will get me all the wickets. Moeen Ali will bowl a few overs, give them a bit of rest at times. Keep things very tight, give absolutely nothing away. But they need wickets right now. The seam bowlers haven't done anything.
Well, he's just doing a holding job. What he really, that line that he's bowled there, if he can get that ball just to drift away towards slip, find the outside edge, not the inside edge.
A bit of flight.
Some very accomplished off spinners have been able to bowl that line and just get it to drift swing away ever so slightly and gently towards slip.
One.
Just a couple singles from that Moeen Ali over. 1-1-3 without loss. Still very grey skies, but the ball isn't doing a great deal. Grey skies, lights are on, slight tinge of green on the pitch, but not a lot happening for the bowlers. Bit of a fumble, but doesn't cost the team anything.
I say.
Yes, his judgment has been pretty good throughout this innings, Rohit Sharma. Well, that's a familiar sight to me at any rate, Mike Gatting. The one wearing the tie, that is for those who are unfamiliar with the former England cricketer. Was there a bat? No bat involved. Well, Michael Goff isn't interested. Will they send it upstairs?
They shouldn't. the angle from around the wicket. It's full. Missing comfortably down the leg side.
I think the possibility there with all those lines was the bat hitting the ground or the pad on the way through, and then of course the ball hitting the pad. There definitely were two sounds, but not sure it was ball and bat together. Straight down the ground, no problems whatsoever, all the way.
Just every now and again, against the off spinner, you'll go downtown. Rahul comes out of his bunker. It will skip down the ground, full floor of the bat.
If you get 6 runs off the first delivery in test match cricket, that is, there's no need to be looking for anything else. You wait to see if anything else is offered. Don't go looking. Opportunity to score there from a ball that's just a fraction short, so he takes it. Rohit Sharma on 82, less attacking field. See the point comes out. Hamid goes to mid-on and does the fielding. 121 without loss.
Time for Jimmy Anderson. Ball swinging in an early spell. Perfect bowling conditions for him. Lights are on. Heavy overcast skies. Standing batting from Rohit KL Rahul. It's so well disciplined. And they're going to have to play it as well now. If Anderson gets this right, 2 slips and a 4th, 5th slip.
Well, the lights are on, the clouds are out. It's about as good as a condition as you can get. And the Indian batsmen have to kind of restart again a bit. These two have been beautiful to watch, haven't they?
Yeah, and so far he's just been very restrained, hasn't he? Attacking player by nature. It's pretty much what we've seen. He thought he might go at Moeen. He hasn't really done that either. Terrific record at home. When the scoreboard is ticking over, he's content. It's what he does in one-day cricket. He's very comfortable. You just sense at the moment that he's really battling his natural instincts, and that's why it's so impressive.
Full face of the bat yet again. In all fairness, 90, I think Moeen has bowled really well. The couple of boundaries that the batsmen have hit of him have definitely not been of bad balls. They've converted a good ball. They've stepped out, gone over, long on, stepped out, gone over, long off. If somebody does that to you, fair enough. On a wicket which is supposed to aid fast bowling, if you're just able to bowl tight and the batsmen are taking chances to hit boundaries, I think you can live with that. Again, a classical leave, I would say. It's a great ball that by Anderson, where he's brought the ball back in and then taken it out. A lot of batsmen will commit into playing a shot, whereas Rohit is just waiting, allowing the ball to do its bit and swing, and then leaving the ball at the last moment. A great attribute for any batter, for that matter. Just the ability to play late, allow the ball to swing, do its thing, and then decide whether to leave it or play it. We're seeing a masterclass here.
Yeah, third man piece or two on exactly that, and that's another good example of it. We showed the replay of that. I'm sure you can see the angle of the bat as it's coming through. It's a brilliant ball, but in the end he doesn't push. He goes back the other way. Instead of pushing at the line, outside the line, he pushes inside. Should be a good contest this though, DK. If Jimmy Anderson can get it right here, this will be a testing spell, I'm sure. Quite right yet. 122 without loss.
Well, it's not often that you see India being put into bat in an away series. Be 122 for no loss. An absolute masterclass this from both openers on how to leave the ball, how to play it late, and most importantly, don't get flustered if you get beaten. Keep going. Next ball it is. It is getting a little darker actually. You can see the shadows of the players because of the floodlights being on. Very interesting. But nowadays it's out of the players' hands. The umpires are aware of the light. They have a light meter. They take the reading the first time bad light is there, and from then on it becomes the benchmark. Only if it gets slightly lower than that do they decide to go in. And all we need is play right now. It's going to be a great competition between bat and ball.
Yeah, first spell 5 overs, known for 22, but he bowled really quickly, up at around 95, 96 miles an hour. I reckon he'll be better off for that first spell in this second spell. Just a little bit more accurate. Yeah, in at the stumps a little bit more. Excellent running again. Hard to fault these two in many ways throughout the first 42 overs. So 5 overs in the first spell, and that's a little wide and perhaps it's a little short at times, but bearing in mind he hasn't played much cricket, you get an advantage and a disadvantage. Advantage is you're fresh, and that's why he's up at around 95, 96 miles an hour. Disadvantage is perhaps the accuracy isn't quite there. So he's tried to vary his position at the crease a little bit. He got the ball swinging as well. And my gut feel, I suspect he'll be a little better for that first 5 overs in this spell. Excellent. It's really good cricket. Excellent defence, great delivery, zoning in on that top of off stump. Just watching India over the winter. I worked out the India-Australia series, which unbelievable comeback. Of course, losing that first Test match in Adelaide, that day-night game, then losing the first Test match in Chennai against England and coming back and winning that series. I see Indian cricket now, or Indian cricketers, with so much resilience. You think losing the toss here, find themselves 124 without loss.
Absolutely bang on, man. Resilient, that's the right word. It's a key word in their dictionary these days, and I think they're believing in it every time. Even in the white ball format as well, in the T20s, they were behind the game. 1-0, then it became 1-1, then they went 3-1. Still found ways to keep coming back. Just the quality of cricketers they've produced. They're all playing some good level cricket here. The domestic cricket, the standards have increased. You need to be not only special to play for the Indian team right now, you need to be mentally very strong as well.
Yeah, he's at the stumps. Much better than he was in his first spell. And DK, obviously a lot of people that don't follow Indian cricketers perhaps as much think, well, it's IPL and that's where you're producing cricketers. But actually, having spent a bit of time out in India, your domestic structure is a good one. Your first class cricket is improving. And therefore I think it's producing more resilient cricketers.
Yes, right, yeah, I think, just as an example, we have more than 35 states right now that you can play for. That's a lot of teams. We have a lot of states in India, but in terms of cricketing states, there's 35 plus. One of the rare pull shots that I've seen KL Rahul even try. But again, coming back to the point, in India right now, there are so many opportunities as a domestic player, but if you want to come back into the Indian team, or make a play and get into the Indian team, you need to do something really special. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we had an Indian team which was playing in Sri Lanka. We had the test team here. So the number of players, the pool of players have increased a lot. So the standard of cricket has also increased. You need to be right up there if you want to be part of this Indian team.
And 26 without loss. Well, he's fresh and he's been bowling quickly. Absolutely steaming in. Slightly longer run up these days, and it certainly looks to be working in terms of rhythm at the crease.
What makes a mark put so special for me, and really hard to play sometimes, especially if the ball is swinging, is because he goes so wide of the crease and then bowls the outswing. A lot of the times as a right-hander, you're committed into a shot. And when you go wide on when you have a bowler going wide in the crease and then releasing the ball, you get the feeling as a batter, it's within your eye line and you commit to playing the shot.
There aren't too many, you've played the game a long time, who can bowl at 90 miles an hour and swing it away from the right hander, particularly when you're going wide of the crease.
Oh, absolutely. And to top it off, he has a nasty bouncer as well. Just comes straight at your head. Devon Conway got a couple. And they played at the start of the summer when they played the series. Devon Conway got a couple of nasty bounces from him as well. He can be really hard to pick because he's short, he's kiddie, and on top of that, if the ball is swinging, which is what it is doing right now as we speak, he's a hard bowler to face, and he's bowling 90 plus, as you said.
So Bumrah would be another, wouldn't he? He could swing the ball away at 90. Brett Lee was another in the earlier days.
Shoaib Akhtar.
Shoaib, yeah. A bit more slingy, wasn't he? So it's more with the release rather than swing. But just a little nibble at that one. Just a little nibble at that one. Yeah, you can just see from his reaction.
That's the thing. This is where he's so special. The ability to go bowl with a wobbly seam, make it feel like it's coming into you, but it's going to pitch and go away. Exactly the ball that a Pujara and a Virat Kohli got out too in Prembridge.
Yeah, and that's the reason he's shaking his head there, because it's what he hasn't really done much of, and that's why he's still there. You see the angle of the bat pushing away from his body. He's done that so well throughout the morning into the afternoon. Finally, through the defences. Anderson had a quiet morning, but he's back in the wickets. Joy for England. Boy, did they need that.
Well, the honours both backings. This time, definitely his name is not going to be in it. He got off to a great start. But come at the hour, come at the man. James Anderson it is for England. Gets the ball to nip back in. Top it off, they say. Bang on. James Anderson is on a roll here. Rohit Sharma goes for 83. India 126 for 1.